आए नहीं है. Now his policies, they were responsible for the revolt of 1857. बिल्कुल डायरेक्ट स्टेट बस की तरह है, ठीक है. And before he could assume the responsibility, he was back in London अपनी जिंदगी एंजॉय करने के लिए. Now this revolt of 1857, there are different kinds of views on this. Some say it's just a mutiny. Some say it's a war between civilization and barbaric Indians. Some say something else, like V.D. Savarkar says that it's the first war of Indian independence. So the nature of 1857 war is very, very debatable. Like if we see Sir John Lawrence, he downplayed the revolt and see it as a localized military outburst, which was not a threat to the British rule. But if we see Veer Savarkar, he say it was the first war of Indian independence, which is a bit too much to say, because naturally the concept of India was not that much leveled in the mind of all Indians, and the modern form of nationalism that was lacking. S.N. Sen sees that revolt as a part of larger movement for Indian independence, and if we see R.C. Majumdar, he believes that earlier incidents were isolated but ultimately led to the major 1857 revolt. So we see large number of revolts and rebellions in India's history. They were linked with peasant movement also, they were linked with the tribal movement also. Like if you see starting from 1783, Rangpur Dhing is a famous one. Then we have Kol rebellion, we have Santhal rebellion. So large number of rebellions were there, and those rebellions created a kind of resistance against the British. And the most serious attack on the British paramountcy, it was the revolt of 1857. Irrespective of the debate of its nature of revolt, it was a big assault on the British paramountcy. Large number of factors are there. Political being, economic. Political being number one, it was the widespread dislike of the British policies. Unjust annexation, like Awadh was annexed in 1856. Doctrine of lapse, many areas, just like Jhansi. Economic exploitation, yes, because see, it started as a mutiny. Once we see Mangal Pandey fighting against his superior officers, then he was hanged. Then eventually we see the mutiny starting from Meerut. So many mutiny were happening within the Indian army. However, that character starts changing. Why? Because they came to Delhi. Once they came to Delhi, Bahadur Shah Jafar, he became their main leader, even though he was a titular head, sirf naam ke raja the, but at least he became. After that, many deputies, they came out in revolt. Like if you see Rani Jhansi, she was going to be important. Begum Hazrat Mahal, she is important. Like if you see from the point of view of other areas, so we have many important leaders who are rising at this point of time. So that is something which changed the character of this revolt. It may have started as a mutiny, but then it turned into a civil rebellion, and then eventually into proto-nationalism. देखो ये थोड़ी सी टर्म्स ना हैवी है, मैं इसलिए कम यूज कर रहा हूँ अभी, बाद में थोड़ा और अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. But try to understand. Mutiny means initially only the soldiers were fighting against the establishment, but then these soldiers, they got the welcome from the people nearby their areas, so it turned into a civil rebellion, and then eventually they started getting the support of their leaders. Once the leaders start supporting, it shows initial form of Indian nationalism, that is known as proto-nationalism. That was not modern Indian nationalism, that was proto-nationalism, and that too it was localized. Like if we talk about Rani from Jhansi, she wanted that the British should go out of Jhansi. So that's a kind of local nationalism. So that's why we need to understand that whenever we see the causes के पीछे की कहानी कहाँ से. तो politics में it is more about dislike, unjust annexation, and the policies of Dalhousie. Dalhousie was responsible for completely breaking the relationship between the Indian states and the British imperial throne. Economic exploitation, drain of wealth, crippling Indian industry, devastation of craftsmen, peasant suffering. So time and again, because of this system of Mahalwari system, Raitwari system, as well as permanent settlement, Indian peasants were suffering, and when they got an opportunity, they were going to support them eventually. Social causes, they were also there. British arrogance, like they remained the foreigners forever. They never tried to integrate with Indian society. Missionary activities, they were trying to convert as many people as possible to Christianity, and which was going to have a big impact on Indian society and their mentality that our religion is getting destroyed. Then Western education was also considered as a kind of imposition. This was not taken with a kind of pinch of salt by the Indians. So all of them did not see it in the same manner. That's why as a result of all of this, they thought that Indian values are going to get disrespected in the long run. So that's why we should fight against them. Sepoy grievances were very clear. These sepoys, they were made to go outside the Indian territory, and there was a taboo that कि आपकी जो caste है, that is going to be lost if you go out of the Indian territory. These people, their social and religious respect was also not being respected by the British, like the turban, which is essential for the Sikhs. They were saying that you should not wear the religious symbols. So those kinds of problems were also seen. Previously also, there were various mutinies, like Vellore mutiny had already happened, and British learned nothing from them. And finally, the foreign service allowance, that previously उनको एक भत्ता मिलता था. If they go outside the India, तो उनको extra amount मिलता है. In fact, this is also the provision in Indian bureaucracy even till today. The moment you will go for some foreign posting, तो आपको extra allowance मिलता है साथ में. But that was taken away. So that's why the sepoy were resenting कि पैसा भी ले लिया, religion भी follow नहीं करने दे रहे हो, घर के बाहर बेच के कास्ट भी खत्म कर दे रहे हो हम लोगों की, है ना. तो how we are going to live in this society? Neither have the money nor have the respect. Then the biggest issue for them, it was the sparked by the grease cartridges. A new kind of rifle came, Enfield rifle. This Enfield rifle was having a kind of the grease, and this grease was to be bit, है ना. उसको आपको you have to use your mouth and you have to bring it open, and then only you can fill it. So this introduction with grease cartridges was considered to be made from beef and pork, and that is something which was affecting both Hindus as well as the Muslims, and they requested the British कि please इसको आप बंद कर दो, we are not going to use this rifle. But the British, being British, they were not going to listen कि भाई we are the paramount, से हम जो बोलते हैं वही मानना पड़ेगा आपको, ठीक है. That is the reason this ignited fears of British trying to destroy their cultural identity. Then came the first uprising, which is in the March of 1857, and this happened by Mangal Pandey in Barakpur. Finally, the Meerut uprising. This Meerut uprising is very important because 85 sepoys they imprisoned for refusing using these cartridges. In May 10th, the sepoy rebel kill officers, free comrades, and march towards Delhi. This is from where the mutiny becomes official. Okay. Then Delhi's fall. The rebellion sepoys reached Delhi, captured the city. Mughal emperor was now declared as the leader by these sepoys. Then wider rebellion. That's what I'm saying. Initially it was a mutiny, but then it changed its character. So mutiny से वो एक leadership आ गई उनके पास में by Bahadur Shah Zafar. Then the revolt spread to different parts of north as well as central India. Lucknow, Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi, Bihar, Jhansi, as well as other areas, they started erupting, and major leaders are going to rise. So please understand this revolt of 1857. This is mostly in north and central India. This did not spread to this area or south or Deccan. None of these areas we have any kind of revolt. So when we call it as first war of Indian independence, it's a misnomer. Why? Because the territory which is affected by this is very limited in nature. Hardly 25% of India's territory was affected. And if we see in terms of population, only 10% of the population was affected by the revolt of 1857. So how can we call it a revolt of Indian independence? And there are few reasons why the South did not join them, because the reason is they had already revolted previously. If you see the episode like Vellore mutiny, that already happened previously. There were many leaders who were associated with them. Okay, and these leaders included, like in Delhi, there was Bahadur Shah, and he was eventually brought down by John Nicholson. Lucknow, Begum Hazrat Mahal, she was brought down by Henry Lawrence. Kanpur, it was Nana Sahib, brought down by Sir Colin Campbell. Jhansi and Gwalior, here we have Lakshmi Bai, and along with help of Tantia Tope, and they were defeated by General Hugh Roche. Bareilly, Khan Bahadur Khan, defeated by Sir Colin Campbell, and Bihar, Kuwar Singh, and he was against the William Taylor. So many people participated in this. Okay, so like if we see Delhi, nominal leadership was that of Bahadur Shah. Actually, it was General Bakht Khan, and they tried to recapture with the help of General Nicholson, and eventually he was arrested and he was taken to Rangoon. And the British Emperor का जो title था, that was also abolished in 1858, and he died in 1862 in Burma. Kanpur, if we see Kanpur, all of us know it was Nana Sahib, and he was the adopted son of last Peshwa. Supporters included Tandia Tope and Ajimullah, and British commander included Sir Hugh Wheeler, and they were captured by Sir Colin Campbell. Lucknow, Begum Hazrat Mahal, and she was eventually defeated by Colin Campbell. So in different parts of north and central India, we see uprising. The case of Jhansi is very clear, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and she was not allowed to rule on behalf of her young child. So eventually doctrine of lapse, she was allied by Tantia Tope. Victory, initially they captured Gwalior, however later on Sir Hugh Ross, he was able to defeat Rani Lakshmibai. In fact, he made a very famous comment. There's a very famous poem, खूब लड़ी लड़दानी वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी. So this is because of what was said by Sir Hugh Ross. He said that she was the only man in this battlefield. Okay, from the side of the various personalities who were fighting with the British. So he said that she was the only man, which showed that she was very fierce. Even though if you see from today's eye, it will be more like a patriarchal comment. But if we see from the point of view of fighting, it showed that she was very skilled and she was ready to defend her kingdom, which shows a kind of local nationalism. एक nationalism उनकी झांसी के level पे, not at the level of India, because she was also ready to sign the pact with the British had they will allow her to rule from the area of Jhansi. So it was not an all India loyalty, वो possible ही नहीं थी उस time पे. Bihar, Kunwar Singh, again he was discontent because of loss of land again against the British rule. Outcome, he was wounded in battle and eventually died by 1858. So this is how this revolt could not succeed. This revolt could not succeed. There are large number of factors responsible for this, like lack of nationwide support. बहुत लोगों ने इसको support नहीं किया. Last year UPSC asked the question that what was the reaction of different masses from India towards the revolt of 1857. So we need to understand every section of India was having different type of support toward this or rejection of this specific revolt. So if we see the educated people, they were not supporting it. Why? Because they thought that the British are going to civilize them in the long run. Plus these sepoys, they used to say that we are going to create the Mughal period. They were not liking the vision with which the revolt was being fought. Second, zamindars were not supporting these revolutionaries. The zamindar were supporting the British. Why? Because British were the one on whom their revenue was dependent. Permanent settlement में बिना British के कौन उनको पैसा देगा? अगले दिन पिटाई होगी वो अलग, है कि what you are doing from last many years. That's why zamindar did not support, literate class did not support. Many sections of Indian society, including many areas itself, like Deccan, South India, Northeast, none of them were part of the revolt of 1857. This interest of intellectual, that is very clear. They were not happy with what was being done by these sepoys. Superior British resources which were already there, they used the railway, they used the telegraph, they used the new kind of weapons. Absence of any kind of centralized organization among the Indian sepoys also destroyed their chances of winning. Technological advantage was always there with British, lack of unified strategy, effective communication, and finally the cumulative impact of all these factors. That's why the revolt of 1857 could not become a success. And time and again, all of these personalities, they were trying to negotiate with the British on their terms, and when they could not negotiate, they again started the fighting. That's why it was very difficult to defeat British, which was unified against the forces which were more like feudalistic in nature. But still there are some significance which we can see. Number one, it was a very popular uprising which caught the natural imagination of all the people of those times, and eventually it became a big symbol of inspiration in the coming times. Second, it was also an act of Hindu-Muslim unity. Both fought side to side. There was no such differences which will eventually emerge on a larger scale from the early 20th century, which will get further intensified with the rise of Indian National Congress and again rivaled by the Muslim League. So those kinds of things were not there in this revolt. That's why it's very important. Effects, if we see, it led to the end of East India Company. By 1858, there was a proclamation known as Queen's Proclamation, through which the East India Company's rule was brought down and a Government of India Act 1858 was brought in. New Viceroy position was created, and from this time Lord Canning was in power, and Lord Canning became the first Viceroy of India. Seeds of nationalism were sown for the first time, that yes, we can fight together and we can fight against the British. So anti-British feelings are now going to emerge on larger scale in the coming decades, and by 1885 we are going to have pan-India organization which will be known by the name Indian National Congress. And finally, it was a very big turning point in Indian history, because from 1857 till 1947 the whole process, the whole pathway of the freedom is going to get accelerated. तो जो पहले बहुत धीरे धीरे चल रहा था from 1757 to 1857, that process is going to now get accelerated. The identity of being an Indian is now going to get unified, and within next 2-3 decades the whole people of India are now going to come together. Initially, it will be moderate, then extremist, then we have the Gandhian phase, socialist phase, and eventually we'll reach the pathway to freedom. That's why it's a very important turning point in Indian history. And from exam point of view, remember, this topic is very, very important. UPSC asks questions very regularly. Even though I'll tell you later on कौन-कौन से topic बहुत important है, but इसको ध्यान रखो. So for today, we have to cover till this specific topic. Tomorrow we are going to cover two important topics. First, we'll see the Indian national struggle from 1857 till 1947. उसको brief में पूरा cover करेंगे. Side by side, we'll see the social religious reform movements of 19th century. Those two things will cover tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, we're going to have one answer writing session, and side by side, we have topics of constitutional history and some areas of post-Indian independence. क्या क्या after 1947, what were the immediate priorities and what happened during the initial 2 decades? Because post-independence में हमें mostly 1964 तक ही पढ़ना होता है, ठीक है? Till the end of the era of Nehru ji. That is what we need to study for this exam. ठीक है? So let us meet tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow's session will be a little bit wider. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा टाइम लगेगा, तो दिमाग को तैयार करके आना कल के लिए. आज के लिए तो चलो ठीक है, it's roughly 2 hours. Tomorrow it may take 2.5 to around 2:45 because वो पूरा एक साथ पढ़ेंगे तो मजा भी आएगा. You'll understand in a better manner. ठीक है? तो कल इसको करते हैं. आज के लिए this is the end.
Hi, a very good evening to all of you. I'm Vikas Alawat. I'm a former civil servant. I was able to crack UPSC twice. In fact, in 2018, I was able to get highest marks in history optional, and they were around 324. So this year, I'm coming up with a series which I'm calling Self-Study History Optional. इस series में 100 से ज़्यादा वीडियो होने वाले हैं, which are going to cover the different nuances of ancient, medieval, modern as well as world history. So those of you who are preparing for 2025, register करिए and try to get the maximum out of this specific initiative of ours. So at Prep Career IAS, we are producing results from last many years. 2023 में बहुत सारे टॉपर्स हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट से थे. 2022, 21 हर साल बहुत अच्छे टॉपर्स यहाँ से निकले हैं. And they have been able to get very good marks in history optional. So those of you who are thinking कि यार start करके कितना कर पाएंगे कितना नहीं कर पाएंगे, we already have achievements with us. I was able to achieve, my students are achieving, and you can be the next. इन सेशंस में क्या होने वाला है? नंबर 1, विल बी फोकसिंग ऑन फाउंडेशन ऑफ बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम व्हाट इज हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज हिस्टोरिकल पीरियड, व्हाट इज प्रोटो हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज प्री हिस्ट्री, बेसिक लेवल. ओके. सेकंड, अलाइनमेंट विद यूपीएससी सिलेबस. जितना भी हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल का सिलेबस है वो 51 पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है. सो वी आर गोइंग टू अलाइन ईच एंड एवरी कंसेप्ट विद द सिलेबस इटसेल्फ. Number 3, we're going to focus on answer writing. All of you know कि जो मेंस है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं होता है, वो सब्जेक्टिव लेवल पे होता है, और आप सब लोगों को आंसर राइटिंग सीखना शुरू करना पड़ेगा, है ना. वी डू नॉट हैव टू मच ऑफ टाइम, तो जिस स्टार्टिंग से ही आंसर राइटिंग शुरू करेंगे. एंड नंबर 4, द ओवरऑल पैकेज इज़ वेरी होलिस्टिक इन नेचर. तो अगर आप इसको अच्छे से कर लेते हैं तो जो बेसिक लेवल फाउंडेशन हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल की वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगी. यू आर गोइंग टू गेट मैनी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स अलॉन्ग विद दिस. ओके. 100+ सेशन है, चारों पार्ट कवर होंगे. थीम वाइज सेग्रीगेटेड डायग्राम, फ्लो चार्ट, जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट एनसीईआरटी हैं. देखो, अगर हम सारी एनसीईआरटी को कंबाइन कर दें, एंशिएंट, मिडिवल, मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड ऑफ वेरियस बोर्ड्स ऑफ इंडिया, तो 25 से 26 एनसीईआरटी निकल के आती हैं. उन सबको हमने कोहेरेंट फॉर्म में डिज़ाइन किया है सो दैट यू कैन लर्न द बेस्ट फ्रॉम दैट. ओके. बिकॉज देखो, हिस्ट्री में रिसर्चेस चलती रहती हैं. अभी तमिलनाडु की जो एनसीईआरटीज़ हैं, दे आर मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट इन कंपेरिजन टू द रिसेंट हिस्ट्री देन द प्रीवियस हिस्ट्री, जो कि आर एस शर्मा वगैरह, सतीश चंद्रा या फिर बिपिन चंद्रा ने लिखी हैं. दैट्स वाई वी आर कवरिंग ऑल द एनसीईआरटीज़ एंड दैट्स वाई 100+ सेशंस हो आ रहे हैं टोटल मिला के. देन 30+ वैल्यू एडेड आपको डॉक्यूमेंट मिलने वाले हैं. डेडिकेटेड आंसर राइटिंग सेशन मिलेंगे. जूम सेशंस भी करेंगे बाद में, ताकि आप लोगों की जितनी भी डाउट्स हों विद रिस्पेक्ट टू लर्निंग दे कुड बी सॉल्व्ड. ओवरऑल जो है आपको क्लास की पीपीटीज मिलेंगी, कंसेप्ट लिस्ट मिलेगा, पीवाईक्यूज, जितने भी पीवाईक्यूज हैं उनको अच्छे से हमने डिज़ाइन कर दिया ताकि आप सब उनको अच्छे से पढ़ सकें. माइंड मैप मिलेंगे पूरे सिलेबस के, वर्कबुक और लर्निंग असाइनमेंट्स मिलेंगे, एंड सेल्फ असेसमेंट टेस्ट, सो दैट वंस यू लर्न समथिंग तो साथ में उसको एटलीस्ट इवेल्युएट भी करना चाहिए ना, कि भाई हमें कुछ समझ में आया भी है नहीं आया, एटलीस्ट जितना रिक्वायर्ड है वहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं या फिर नहीं पहुँचे हैं. तो आपको करना क्या है? What we need to do, दैट सबसे पहले आप रजिस्टर कर लीजिए, ठीक है, आपको एक स्पेसिफिक गूगल शीट मिलेगा, उसमें आप रजिस्टर कर लीजिए। देन एज ऑल ऑफ अस अंडरस्टैंड, हर किसी के पास लिमिटेड स्लॉट्स हैं, तो आपको एक स्पेसिफिक कॉल आएगा, एंड दैट इज समथिंग विच वी आर कॉलिंग एट स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस। बिकॉज अगर हमें आपको ये सारी सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करनी है, द नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स विच वी कैन हेल्प, दे आर ऑलवेज लिमिटेड इन नेचर। सो academic counselor is going to call you, they're going to help you out, they're going to understand आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है। हो सकता है आप कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर में हो, सेकंड ईयर में, थर्ड ईयर में हो, और यू मे हैव ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर सम टाइम एंड यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट, तो इसलिए हमें स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस चाहिए होगा। एंड फाइनली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस यू आर गोइंग टू गेट द बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम।